ready? Good. Welcome, this is the Whiskey Roundtable. We are your hosts. I'm Joe Clark. Big J.
Aaron Allen Keller.
John Dunbar. Thank you for joining us tonight. And grab a whiskey, grab a cigar, and let's go on a little journey. Want to thank, be sure to view us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. And as we've said in the past before, I think everybody knows that if you want to come on the show, just kind of bring your favorite bottle of whiskey with you, preferably unopened, but if it's something that's not readily available, like a Pappy or whatever, George P. Stagg, then we understand that you're bringing it for your collection and it's already open.
Don't call us.
Yeah. And bring two.
Bring two.
Right. And if you buy us a glass, make sure you get us a set. Well, we let him know already that we could use 3 or 4.
Actually, I got a great idea. Bring the good shit before Clarky gets here, because we're really waiting for him. And we'll drink the good stuff, and then bring the BB for Clarky.
Well, I was going to say, if you bring us something good, we'll let you try any one of our BBs that we have.
Oh, my goodness. You are stupid.
So we got a double trouble tonight of Heaven Hill, both 6 years. One is the Heaven Hill Bottled and Bond 6-year-old that we all know and love that is pretty much gone. And then the other is Heaven Hill 6-year at 90 proof. Now, I've always heard it's very good, and it's just a little bit of a cut version of the Bottled and Bond. And I guess we're about to find out, because we just got a review from Mr. Scott that he didn't like it too much, and that the Bottled and Bond was far superior. Correct. All right, what do we got on cigars? What are we doing tonight, guys?
So, Royal Havana Cigars, 38448 Lakeshore Boulevard. Royal Havana Cigars, Willoughby, Ohio. Again, I always say this, we do all kinds of events, weddings and golf outings and anniversaries and birthdays, and you can do events right there at the lounge, if you will. So, Royal Havana Cigars, Dave Somrock, owner. Got a couple other announcements as well, so to say. Village Martini, 516 East Washington Street, Chagrin Falls, Ohio, 44022. Great food. Again, Village Martini is expanding their bourbon, or I should say their whiskey, and they're going to do long pours and short pours there. So look for that in the near future. If you want to make a reservation, the food there is fantastic. Been there a million times. 440-893-WINE if you want to make a reservation and try the place out. It's fantastic. Chagrin Falls. All you guys from the Cleveland Bourbon Co-op and the wives and the girls, if you're on this side of town, check them out.
Girlfriends, mistresses.
Amen. If you're on the west side, so to say, there's the Clifton Martini Bar, same owner, 10427 Clifton Boulevard, Cleveland, Ohio, 44102. 10427 Clifton Boulevard, Cleveland, Ohio, 44102. Phone number if you want to make a reservation, 216-965-0221. Jackson Gray Jewelers. So, Chad Verhoff.
And Chad said if we mention this show, we all get free watches.
Well,
right.
I heard
Chad!
that.
Oh my God!
I heard that.
I feel like I'm on the Princess
Right. Watch. Jeez, free.
Sounds good. So, Jackson Gray Jewelers. Chad, great guy. Again, 516 East Washington Street, Chagrin Falls, Ohio, 44022. Go check him out. This guy's amazing. High strung, love him. And they do event planning, so to say. They do, for weddings and different things like that. If you want something custom made for your bride or your groom, go check them out. Plus, what is it, May 4th?
May 4th is Derby Day.
Derby Day.
Right there at 516 Washington Street. It's a combination of Jackson Gray Jewelers
and the
Village Martini Bar. Hopefully by the time this airs, it's right about when that is going to take off. So they're going to have some bourbon and a bunch of raffles.
Actually, this is probably going to be after.
A ton of raffles. No, it'll be Wednesday, right? We should skip it.
It might be after, so I hope you went.
we should probably skip it and then roll it out the next day. Just for the advertisement. We'll talk about that later. Let's not get in depth into that. But anyway,
I would like to say though,
4 to 8 kids. 4 to 8.
Last show too, so
I understand that, but
you were talking about the food at the Village Martini Bar, and I've never liked calamari until I went there.
Oh, okay.
Their calamari is fantastic. fantastic.
It is fantastic. Their food there is good. The atmosphere is nice. It's very upscale, but you don't have to be dressed in a suit to go there.
You don't have to be snooty.
The service is good. The food is good. The drinks are good. Plus, they have a great bourbon and whiskey selection, so to say. So, obviously noted for their martinis and their wines. So, give them a shout. If you're on the east side, you're looking for something to do. You've been to this place. You've been to that place 100 times. It's a new place. Check them out. They've been in business for a long time. Go check them out.
Some jewelry store might have some.
Well, so the event on the 4th, the Kentucky Derby, they are going to have a 5 bourbon tasting, 5 different bourbons to taste while you're there. Again, 4 to 8. They have some food there from the Village Martini. I think Chad's doing some his homemade jerky, beef and deer jerky. They're going to have a bourbon connoisseur there to dish out some of the tastings. So 4 to 8.
Ladies, wear your
It's funny because I was online today looking for derby hats for me and Karen. Now, I'm not a hat guy. At my job, they scream at me for never wearing my hat, but I can't stand wearing a hat.
Is that mandatory?
What's that? In my job?
No, the hats and stuff?
Not mandatory, no.
Oh, okay,
my job, yeah, it's mandatory.
Another thing I want to show is Royal Havana sign. And also, before we forget, we have the Cleveland Bourbon Co-op. Shout out to the guys at Cleveland Bourbon Co-op. Thank you guys for everything you do. And I see some other drinks, new drinks that we're here. I'll get into in the news. I see Out in the Wild. We've had some confirmations.
Yep.
And I think that's it.
What about
Premier Automotive, 5116 Richmond Road, Bedford Heights, Ohio, 44146. You can just call my cell at 216-533-0117 if you need something, or text me.
Can you say that again slowly?
216-533-0117.
Perfect.
Would you lay off the Red Bull, please?
Yeah.
No, that's supposed to make me go faster.
Okay.
That's the problem.
Oh, okay. So it's 216-533-0117. You'll find me out front at the hot dog stand where I make most of my money. And 39 cents for a hot dog.
Oh my goodness.
Here we go with that whole thing that we took earlier. The pork loin.
The pork, yeah, I'm also making pork loins that day.
I'm also gonna throw a shout out. They're not one of our sponsors, but some guys that I know. 50 Buffalo Dip at gmail.com.
That's right, we're out of that. We got to get some more.
Very good stuff. Check it out. I mean, the spring is here. Memorial Day's coming. Reach out to Brian Reardon at 440-897-9917. If you want to order it, you order it through 50 Buffalo Dip at gmail.com. Or you can reach out to Andy Kelly at 440-821-7184. We've had this several times. Fantastic. Good stuff. And if you don't do it for Memorial Day, you're missing out on something. Fantastic stuff. The best I've ever had. Very good. All right. Go ahead.
Great.
What we got?
Absolutely.
What do you got, Joe? Talk to us.
Put the whiskey close to the camera, G.
Which one you want? The one we opened?
Let's do, wherever the first one is there, we'll do the next one after. That is the Heaven Hill 6-year. It is 90 proof, I believe. Could you double check that for me? Okay, it is 90 proof. That's a green label.
It's in my notes.
People always say, hey, this is a good replacement for the bottled and bond that left us. So I've been dying to try this, and we'll see what happens here.
All right.
All right, so Karen, I'm sure you have some history on Heaven Hill for us.
I do. I got a little bit of history. Let me put my glasses on. So
Well, 6 years old and it's fucking whiskey. What the hell you want to know?
That's right. From Kentucky.
I already knew.
Kentucky.
So Heaven Hill, it is owned and operated by the Shapira family, and it was founded in 1935 in Bardstown, Kentucky. Currently, the distillery is called the Heaven Hill Bernheim Distillery, and it's in Louisville, Kentucky. It's the 6th largest alcohol supplier in the U.S., and it's the 2nd largest holder of bourbon whiskey inventory in the world, with the last count of 1.5 million barrels, boys.
So you're saying they're the sixth largest, but they're holding back.
Sixth largest alcohol supplier.
But they're the second with
Second largest bourbon whiskey inventory.
So wait a minute here.
So it says been supposedly made since 1783 or something.
You're telling me they've been making that for 300 years and they can't make enough?
That's all I'm saying.
But it was founded by several investors back in 1935 by the Shapiro family, as I mentioned, but it also included Joseph L. Beam, who was Jim Beam's first cousin.
Ah, surprise, surprise.
Which is why you like it so much.
They're always intertwined, you know?
Yeah.
So the five Shapiro brothers actually bought out all of the investors, and Joseph Beam stayed on as the master distiller. And all of the master distillers since Heaven Hill has been founded have been from the Beam family.
There's a surprise. Wow. Okay. Well, shocker.
All right. So I know right away when I was reading this history that this was going to be
a sore subject with me.
Good.
But you're going to like this one, I think. Never mind. We won't go there. That's another show, guys. November 7th, Joe, I don't know if you know this, but November 7th, 1996, Heaven Hill's plant was almost completely destroyed by fire.
Ah.
Yes.
90,000 barrels of bourbon were lost in that fire.
That is alcohol abuse if I haven't heard it.
telling you.
I'd have done right in. Fuck fire.
That would have been.
It would have been like,
She was like, I'm
going
on fire,
in.
but it tastes good.
I'm going
Is this
in.
what toasted barrel tastes like?
Oh my goodness.
too funny. So, in 2018, Heaven Hill actually announced that the 6-year bottled and bond would be discontinued. And they claimed it was because of the rising demand on American whiskey. And actually, the 6-year bottled and bond was a regional product that you could only get in Kentucky.
Correct.
And they wanted to quit the distribution on that. Plus, it's one of the younger brands that they had out there. So they wanted to kind of slow the distribution on the regional and the younger ones.
Younger brand. Let me see here.
You've got the green label, the bottled and bond is the
Oh,
other
I'm
one.
sorry. Is that what you're talking about, bottled
I
and bond?
am.
I apologize.
No, you're fine. You're
Stepped out
fine.
of turn.
But at the time
You
that
mean younger by time, as in how long it's aged?
how long it's
Because I
aged.
think a lot of the Heaven Hill products are usually aged more than 6 years.
Yeah. So they wanted to cut down on the younger
That's crazy.
and the more regional ones. Now, about the time, and it was at the end of 2018 that they announced that the bottled and bond was going away. And around the same time, maybe a little bit before that, the earliest articles that I found were from July. They were coming out with a 27-year bottled, 27-year Heaven Hill. And they actually saved only so many barrels from before the fire. So the fire was in 96. They had started that in about 1990. So there were only so many barrels that were saved. So the 27-year is going for, if you can find it, it was supposed to come out in the fall last year.
Okay.
About $400 a bottle.
Well, shit, that's cheap at twice the price.
So
Yeah, it's not like, Buffalo Trace Double Eagle Rare at $2,000 MSRP. You're talking a product that's 7 years older than that.
Sometimes I feel, I'm sorry, are you done?
No.
Sometimes I feel like some of these distillers, we're a huge Buffalo. I'm a huge Buffalo Trace fan, but at the end of the day, what are you doing? What are you doing? $2,200 a bottle. There's a lot of people that can afford that. Don't get me wrong, but at the end of the day, really, and that almost kind of shies me away because we have a ton of Buffalo Trace.
Oh, yeah.
A ton. Yeah. We have stuff that people wish they had. I get it. But at the end of the day, am I paying $2,200 a bottle?
No.
Hell no. If I did pay $2,200 a bottle, I'd sell it on the secondary market and get my price, and I'd go buy some other product.
Hank and
That's
Carl,
the
you
shit
didn't hear that.
That's the shit that pisses me off with these distillers. But
No, I
whatever, So that's just my personal opinion. A lot of people may disagree with that, and that's fine. I'm cool with all that. But at the end of the day, I know what I have in inventory. I have a huge friggin' inventory, and when you start pulling that bullshit, I'm not a fan. Just not a fan.
No.
That's how it is.
What's worth that much money? Really?
If I'm gonna spend $2,200 on a bottle of bourbon, I'm gonna go buy some real shit.
It better come with a happy ending,
Better
right,
come
honey?
with a happy
Yeah.
ending, it's right.
The whole train in it.
Happy ending in a fucking bath towel. But anyway, go ahead, I'm sorry. That's all I got for today.
You know what really grinds my gears?
But I don't get a happy ending after I have my $2,200
Well,
bottle of
what?
bourbon.
You know what really blows up my crotch rocket engine?
Dude, that made my day today. That cat, I don't know who he was, but that made my day today. Boom! I was just like, oh, hell no.
Were you still drying yourself
I
off?
was
with
all
it?
like, I'm gonna fluff somebody's pillow. I ain't playing. Catch me early evening, fuckers. Anyway, go ahead.
See what happens, Joe, when we're sitting around
Yeah,
waiting
Joe,
for
For
waiting on
2
you.
hours straight.
Yeah.
Continue on with your news, man.
I shall continue.
Good.
So I wanted to dig into a little bit about Bottled and Bond, and I know I went down this track a little bit when Chad was here, and we were doing the old granddad, but wanted to dig into a little bit more about Bottled and Bond because actually I went on Heaven Hill's website, and they don't even talk about Heaven Hill on their website. They talk about all of their other products, but not Heaven Hill. So I'm going to break into a little bit of the Bottled and Bond. So I think as I mentioned the last time when Chad was here, Bottled and Bond means that American distilled beverages are bottled and aged according to the standards that were laid out in the Bottled and Bond Act of 1897.
Okay.
And that whole act came about because much of the whiskey that was sold at that time was said to be straight whiskey, but it really wasn't. People were trying to make money.
Right.
Well, rectifiers.
Rectum fires.
Rectum.
Rectum almost
What?
killed him. Good.
But it was actually being flavored and colored with different things like iodine and tobacco. Yeah, so God only knows what else was in there. Jimbo wasn't around at that time, but could have been some of that too. So the act was actually a way to have some quality assurance around whiskey products. So Bottled and Bond, the liquor must be a product of one distillation season, which is either from January to June or July to December. And it must be by one distiller at one distillery. A lot of the distilleries, they will get their products from around different regions. And I think we've done that on a few different shows. You've got some Western whiskeys that get their grains and things from the Midwest. But this is all by one distiller, one distillery. It must be aged in a federally bonded warehouse under U.S. government supervision for at least 4 years. And it's got to be bottled at 100 proof. So you guys were talking about earlier, the green label, Heaven Hill, is 90 proof. The Bottled and Bond is 100 proof. So the difference, other than the proof, the 6-year, the mash bill is 78% corn, 10% rye, and 12% malted barley. The Bottled and Bond is 75% corn, so a little bit less, 13% rye, a little bit more rye, and 12% malted barley. So it's the same malted barley. The corn and the rye is
Mixture
where
on
it
the corn and
differs.
Different.
And I just wanted to clarify, you did say on the 6-year, the first one, not to be a
No,
dick or anything.
please.
They are both 6 years old.
Yes. Did I not say that?
You said on the 6-year one.
Oh.
Then I just
Well,
wanted to
yeah.
clarify, just, you know.
Yeah,
A
sure.
6-year regular versus the Bottled and Bond.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, good call.
Good. Yeah, but thanks for correcting me. What I did not know is.
She's been waiting on you, so her little, but
Huh? What?
I said you've been waiting on him, so your facts might be a little less. Good going, Clark.
A little fuzzy.
Yeah, sure.
Anyway, so Heaven Hill, they do a lot of other products. So we mentioned that they were the 6th largest alcohol supplier. They do a bunch of other whiskeys. They do Elijah Craig, Evan Williams, Mellow Corn, Old Fitz, McKenna, which is getting a lot of
Rated
talk
number
lately.
1 this past year. Sure.
And I'm pissed it was.
Can't even find it. I've been looking all over for
Fucking
it.
Do we have
I
some on the
mean, yeah,
bar?
oh yeah, we do, but it's beside the point. I want more.
And a couple others that we've did on
Sorry.
a couple others that we did, because I can't talk anymore. A couple others that we have done on the show in the past, Larceny, and of course our favorite, Fighting Cock.
Amen.
Which, when we
Love
did
the
it on the Cock show, that it was the replacement for the 6-year Bottled and Bond.
Well, So
wait a minute, hold on.
Go ahead.
No,
Fighting-
I didn't read that, but that was our opinion.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay. I thought I was like, really? Oh, okay.
We said at the time we did the show, we said this is takes the place.
So that's why. So they pulled Heaven Hill Bottled and Bond. It's no longer. We tried Fighting Cock on a Fluke.
Ryan Blazak.
Yep. So we tried Fighting Cock on a Fluke, and in my personal opinion, and I probably shouldn't say this before tasting, but I'm going to. But I thought the Fighting Cock was much more pleasing than the Bottled and Bond. That's why I ordered 12 bottles. That's why I got 12 bottles.
I think there is a third bottle that should be added tonight.
Which bottle is that? Fighting
Fighting
Cock?
Cock versus Bottled and Bond.
Killing me, Clarky. We'll have to.
We've already
when
done
we go-
Fighting Cock, but we can sip it. Just take a little nap after we do the Bottled and Bond. Just
All right,
saying.
well,
Which
let's-
is interesting
let's
because
do-
Because this
let's-
is, now that you said that and refreshed
Well,
our
so
knowledgeable
my cousin Ernie, who is a Heaven Hill Bottled and Bond freak his whole friggin'
that
life.
was like his delivery fee.
He was it wasn't.
It was. Those are his delivery
That's
fees.
a
There
whole
you go.
story. I won't bore you kids
There you
with.
go.
But anyway, that comes with a whole different story.
Oh God,
But
I can only imagine.
Basically, he would mule us stuff, whiskey,
right,
and he would
we
come and
always
we'd like,
here's a bottle and bond. So
and that's like he loved it. He would
So-
take that over a Blanton's or Bell Mead or anything you can name. Anything.
Bottled and Bond, Heaven Hill. He didn't give a shit if it was $1,000 or $1.
Yep, that's his drink.
Bottled and Bond was his drink.
That's his drink.
When he was here last, a few weeks ago, and we came down here and we did a whole tasting.
He mealed more.
Okay, and he did, and which is coming again, by the way.
Yeah.
And I said, "Cuz, you haven't lived till you drank this. I know your palate. I know you're stirring. You're all bottled up on this, and there's nothing else better than this. But I'm telling you now, Fighting Cock is better than Bottled and Bond." And he basically told me we're the bear shit, and I said, "Well, we're gonna get into that," and we did. And now he's all like calling me once a week, motherfucking me. It's like, really? I'm like, really? He's
But
like,
you know what? It's still cheap. It's
still
really good.
fantastic.
It's
Yeah. So
Well, and it's a step up because we've got the regular green label is 90
90.
proof. You've got the Bottled and Bond, which is 100, and you've got the Fighting Cock, which is 103.
Right.
and
So
McKenna's what? $28,
right,
$30,
It's about 30 some dollars.
36, 30 something. Okay, I can't
the
remember.
Fighting Cock was
But that's
20,
a Bottled and Bond product.
$18 for
if you
Fighting
can
Cock.
find it.
10-year,
Well,
Get it in Ohio.
Well, we can't get it in
Got
Ohio.
some. Haven't had it yet.
What's that? The Fighting Cock?
The McKenna 10.
Oh,
yeah,
McKenna.
yeah.
Okay, well, we'll try that.
Oh,
So-
wait. Should have brought like
Yeah.
10 of them back.
I asked if you guys want me to bring it.
Well, don't worry, we'll take care of it. Okay.
We got time.
We got time, bro.
Plenty of time.
Good time, cuz. We're good.
Plenty of time.
But all right. So when Karen's done with her stuff, we'll take an intermission break and we'll bring out the Fighting Cock and we'll go. I know we already did it on the show, but we'll compare them because they're
Just
all
for
in line.
comparison, yeah.
They're all in line. We'll do Fighting Cock last. That's all.
Yeah, we'll
just
go
do
up
it.
in the proof.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Karen.
No, I just had a couple more things. So because they are one of the largest distilleries in the country, they do other things other than whiskeys. They do gin and vodka under the Burnett's label.
Correct.
So I know a lot of times I don't go down the gin aisle very often, but I've seen the Burnett's label. It is also a green label, like the Heaven Hill
Right.
whiskey. They do make a Burnett's vodka. I had no clue, but they do. And they also make my favorite, tequila. And it's labeled under 2 fingers, tequila. So
Tequila makes your pants fall down.
That's your
Remember that song?
that's your favorite tequila?
no, tequila is just my favorite.
Oh, okay. I thought that. Have you tried that yet?
I have not, but now
She's not a big whiskey girl, but she's a big tequila girl. I mean, we have
That'd be something to check out.
we
Yeah,
have
absolutely.
a lot of different tequilas.
They make good stuff. I mean, all their whiskey is good.
We don't. Yeah. So
I mean, we have
Yeah.
a lot of Heaven Hill products over there.
we do.
yes, we do. And it's funny because I, me being new, I don't realize the connection between all of the different.
They make so many.
bourbons and whiskeys and how they all relate to a specific distillery. So it's crazy to me to see some of the things that we have tried. The Larceny, which I absolutely love the
Larceny's
Larceny.
fantastic.
I
Larceny's
thought that
awesome.
was great.
That's a weeder.
And
It is a weeder.
The old Fitz.
And the Fighting Cock I thought was great too.
Just like it because of the name.
Well, I did originally, but no, it actually tastes good too. So yeah, it's cool to see how everything kind of interconnects and,
So,
and with Joseph Bean being the master distiller.
That's
it's just,
crazy.
It's just crazy how all of it just it kind of filters down to the origins of bourbon. It's cool.
I'm thinking about doing, not to change the subject.
No, because I'm done. So let's go.
Okay,
Whatever
so
you got.
There's a distiller that's been out for a long time, and I think it was part of the maybe Jack Daniels. The distiller of Jack Daniels started this, but Ernest.
I've heard that.
Okay, so it's starting to get back out there in the whiskey world, and I'm thinking they have a couple different brands. It's expensive stuff, and that's what shies me away from it because sometimes there you go. But I don't know if they have it or not. But I'm thinking about trying that. So
Which
supposedly Uncle Ernest. Ernest.
I think they have that.
Uncle Ernest was a black distiller family, okay, and the original guy, the original distiller from Jack Daniels was a friend of his, and they started this whole thing together. And then the guy from Jack Daniels, if I have the story right, if I don't, correct me, I'm okay with that, but broke off and started Jack Daniels.
Okay.
But so their products are expensive, so to say. They're in the $50 to $70 mark. They have a couple different things out. But I'm thinking about grabbing one of those just to something different. It's a distiller that you don't hear a lot about.
I was gonna say, have you seen that?
I have, not here in Ohio, but I have seen stuff online, which I'm not opposed to buying a bottle, but I just haven't decided which bottle I want to buy. So we'll come back to that another day, but that's just on my mind.
I want to ask Doug. I know he's big into bourbons and he has a lot of knowledge. Did you have anything else on Heaven Hill or anything between the comparisons or anything you wanted to add, or did I cover everything?
Yeah, you covered it. And we're going to do the tasting. Right?
Okay.
Yeah, we'll do the notes and all that in a minute. So
Pass it out. Let's do it.
all right, let's do it. Doug, those are your glasses over there. Quit
I've been
playing.
waiting to try this.
So this is a
You'll love
6 year.
it long time.
Oh,
I love you
sexy.
long time.
So sexy.
Oh my goodness.
Ooh.
I like it already.
The nose is good.
Oh,
Come on, Scott.
Is this the green label?
But you can have something good on the nose, and then you go to taste, and you're like, oh fuck.
What do you always say, honey?
what's that?
If it smells like...
Smells like cologne, leave it alone. Smells like fish, make it a dish. Alright, let's do this. Alright, let's do it. Wow.
You know what? The first smell was really fruity, but as I...
Oh.
Yeah. as I go...
Clarky, this is all your fault. It's all your fault.
I'm done. Forget it. Someone else take over.
So I get a little bit of a burn on the nose. I get a little bit of a burn on the nose. I get caramel. I get oak. I get vanilla, which I smell in a lot of different.
I get that.
Oh,
It's got that
butterscotch.
bottled and bondage nose
and
to
a
it.
touch of green apple.
I get some apple. I'll get apple out of it. I don't get much
Good
more
call,
than
dude.
that. I'm gonna hit my palate one more time here, and we'll go from there.
Is anybody going to do nose and palate?
Doug's got it. Big Sexy's got it.
This wasn't a whole lot here, but
That's all right. What do you got?
the nose, dusty corn, toffee,
Good
a
coffee.
little bit of ethanol.
I get the ethanol.
About 93 octane. Shit.
We want to read the
say
rest of
90 octane.
Oh, okay.
Palate, rich but brittle toasted nuts, hints of barley, and more sweet corn, but not quite butterscotch. No. not sure what that means.
I guess I get some corn out of there. I know what you're saying there.
Finish is medium with baking spices, orange, and citrus.
Look at that. Those are thick.
I get a little bit of
heavy.
the orange.
It's real heavy.
So the
Yeah.
6 year, you said corn. The 6 year is
No.
78% corn. So
I get corn. I get, so I go back to this when we did when the distiller came out from California. I get corn husk out of it.
Doug, I agree, Doug. This is definitely, all joking aside, I just want to get serious with this. I do get that green apple a lot on this.
I do get green apples.
Yeah. Because the first thing I noticed
I don't
right
get
when
it.
we got it was a fruity.
I smelled something, I couldn't tell what it was. You said green apple, and that's what, again, goes with, sometimes I smoke cigars and it kind of scares me a little bit. I get corn husk out of it. I don't get, I guess you could say you
There's
get
hints of that
corn,
mellow
but
corn
I
there.
say I get corn out of it. I
That
get
must
more.
be the dusty corn. Then.
Yeah.
Probably.
I get a hint of that kind of mellow cornish smell out of that too.
Yeah.
I like mellow corn.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, it's awesome.
I was ready to taste it.
All right.
What's
Let's
on
hit
the
it.
palate?
What's on the
Again?
palate, Doug? Come on, quit playing. What are you doing?
Okay, palate rich but brittle toasted nuts. Hints of barley and more sweet corn, but not quite butterscotch.
All right, let's hit it.
Let's do it.
Wow,
Man, that's-
major corn.
Major corn is right. It's smooth though. 90 proof. 90 proof. I get very minimal burn, so to
heat.
say.
Yes.
Heat. Okay.
No heat,
I
no.
get
Yeah, very soft,
almost for as heavy as it is.
Nothing.
I really don't
silky.
Yeah.
get.
I mean, I just pre-gamed with Old Forester 1920, and I mean that's a good drink, and
I agree.
this is also a really good drink.
I agree.
It's very good.
Corn on the cob, like you just had corn on the cob.
It's very corny. It really
Corny
is.
like Joe.
It's sweet. It tastes like sweet corn to me.
I'll let
It
you
does.
know.
Kind of like a more complex mellow corn.
I'll let you know tomorrow morning.
When I wake up, I
little
don't
bit
remember
of,
eating corn.
I didn't eat corn, but I pooped it out.
A little
So-
bit of street corn almost.
So you know what?
It
I'll
is.
tell you
It's a
what.
sweet
Sweet corn's good. When I first hit the nose on it, I did have that heat, alcohol, ethanol, if you will. But now that I had a sip of it,
Dude, there's way more heat
I
on it,
don't get any of that at
Yeah.
all.
That's weird. I
I'll
thought it was
say
gonna be
a
hot.
bit of licorice on the,
Sure.
on the finish.
I smelled a lot of grain. I didn't expect the heat, which is funny because you guys are like, you love the high heat, you love the George Stagg, you love the 130 proof.
Anything 100 proof or better.
Yeah.
You love that. I did not smell the heat on this. I smelled the grain and I taste the corn and it's sweet to me.
I gotta hit it again.
I get
that's straight
I get
sweet
a little bit of the
Yeah.
butter, but
I do. I actually rinsed out with some water
not quite
and hit it,
butterscotch.
and I do get a like melted butter.
right before the finish, and then it kind of
Yeah.
goes a little bit like. Again,
like-
I can only think of like licorice.
For me, it's,
Licorice you get out of there?
Or, on the very top, that's how it finishes for me.
I get a lot of aftertaste of corn. Like you just had corn on the cob at a summer
with butter.
picnic.
That's what I'm
Yes.
getting. I'm getting sweet corn on the cob with butter.
Yep, me
So
too.
I did not cleanse my palate before I took the second drink, and if I tell you guys what I tasted, you're gonna laugh at me, but I tasted coconut.
Okay.
I see that.
And coconut is nothing I've ever seen in a bourbon at all,
That's something I want.
but I am a fan of coconut, but I got a coconut aftertaste. That's what I got.
I totally agree with that. As soon as you said it, I'm like, yep.
I could taste that more than I would taste the licorice. Is more of a coke. That's a very good explanation of that finish.
Just
But
my
what I
thought.
get hit with right away, it's to me is buttered sweet corn. with a weird coconut finish. It's not weird. It's just weird
No,
how
I
finish is like.
got a
Yeah,
coconut
yeah, yeah.
finish in it. And you know, people might think I'm crazy when I say coconut, but that's really what I taste. That's what I taste.
Honey, you little cray cray.
A little crack, but
It's good. I like
Have
it.
to be honey,
Dude,
I'm with you.
this to me is a like a it's a what God darn it, why can't I say it? A refined mellow corn is what it tastes like to me.
You know what, Joe? You're exactly right about that. I mean,
it's very similar,
It is
but
very
it's
similar.
but it's refined. It's a lot.
I mean, mellow corn is more corn.
Oh, it's straight corn.
It's
You ever
okay.
had it?
Yeah.
Oh,
I think.
I mean, I like
What's the
mellow.
proof on the mellow corn?
100 proof. It's bottled
Yeah,
and
it's
bottled.
bottled and
Okay,
bottled.
okay.
Yeah, we got 2 bottles coming up. here
It's
pretty
super
quick.
smooth though.
You know, I've had the mellow corn, and it burned my freaking lungs out. I tell
Really?
you. Oh,
Wow. See this? I thought I was going to do this because on the
Going for the
nose I was
finish.
like, whoa, on the ethanol, but yeah.
You know, I just must be
Wow.
getting used to drinking
That was a big
bourbon
gulp.
and whiskey with you
Jesus.
guys because I just don't taste the burn as much anymore.
Can I grab one?
Absolutely, help yourself.
Oh yeah.
It's I like it.
Let's see what. Yeah, got it that time. Much more.
I like it.
Are we gonna move to this
We're gonna
BIB?
move. We're gonna move to
Bottled and stupid ball, I'll tell you that. Damn
Bottled
balls.
and
When the
bottled.
government
glass.
get-
Pass it on.
Now the government got involved.
Pass it on. You got a napkin?
Yeah, I got a little.
You got a mankin? Is that
I
what
got a
he,
Mifkin
is that what he said? You got a mankin?
man bun.
So why don't we
I offend some people, sorry.
take a break?
Take a break?
Yeah, let's take a break real quick and
I'm gonna hit pause.
yeah, hit
Yeah,
your pause.
yeah. Actually, it's a good idea. I was going to recommend that, but I didn't want to upset anybody because I drink about 73 gallons of water today.
Pause. That's a perfect
there.
Jimbo intro.
So we're going to go right into this pause and see you guys in a second. You won't see it because I'll edit it out. Bye. This is a section of the show that's called The Whiskey Wizard, brought to you by Doug Dunbar, a.k.a. Big Sexy, as you know, is one of our hosts. And we're really proud of this. This is part 2. Going back to the last show we have, and we're going to get right back into it. Go ahead.
So, once again, we call this segment the Whiskey Wizard because whiskey making takes scientific knowledge, an artisan skill and dedication, and a bit of the intangible wizard's alchemy of air, light, earth, and fire. On this second segment, we want to pick up where we left off last time. After we have our high-quality grain bill and clean source of water, now it's time for the mash. Here's where we take the prepared grains in the water and we mix them together in a large vessel, known as the mash tun or mash tub. This is where the starches that perhaps began their conversion in the malting process are further cooked to transform them into a range of simpler sugar compounds. Before this, most bourbon distillers will have added what's known as a setback, or confusingly it's also called a back set, which is a portion of the spent mash from a previous distillation. Of course, whiskey made from this process is called sour mash. This helps to lower the pH and initiate fermentation. While mashing recipes may vary, a typical 4,500 gallons of commercial mash might contain about 180 bushels of grain, and this will yield somewhere close to 14 barrels of finished spirit. As Trip Stimson of Barrel Bourbon in Louisville states, fermentation is absolutely 100% the pivotal part about whiskey making and the development of desirable flavor and complexity. He tells us also it doesn't matter what kind of still you use if what goes into it doesn't have the right new make flavors to begin with. And the barrel's not a magic box, you have to put good spirit in it or you still won't like the outcome. After the mash is cooked, it is transferred into the fermenter, which is made of stainless steel or cypress. Cold water runs through the stainless steel pipes in the fermenter to cool the liquid down for the addition of the yeast. Most distillers are a bit secretive about the yeast that they use. Of course, yeast is a living organism that has various strains, and this genetic mutation of these strains can be taken advantage of over time. Yeast is a single-celled fungus that converts sugars into carbon dioxide and other organic compounds, including, of course, alcohols. Higher alcohols are known as fusel alcohols, and these in turn combine to form other compounds, including esters. The yeast happily goes about its business, feeding on the rains of sugar such as fructose, maltose, and glucose, and converting them, while leaving behind a range of organic flavor compounds and, quite importantly, ethanol. The yeast fermentation also produces a compound, adenosine triphosphate, known as ATP. ATP provides energy that all living cells need. So hey, whiskey's healthy. The yeast species used is Saccharomyces cerevisiae. Different strains of the yeast may be used to produce varying flavors, most of which are associated with the production of unique mix of these esters and organic acids. Most fruity, floral, and spicy notes can be attributed to the byproducts of yeast metabolism. Sanitation and temperature must be tightly controlled throughout the fermentation process. If you have bacteria, other wild yeast competing with your yeast, they'll be stressed and you'll develop off flavors. The care and survival of the yeast is quite concerning to the distillers. I read that Jimmy and Eddie Russell Wild Turkey keep backup yeast cultures in their refrigerators at home. While a brewer's yeast may ferment the mash to about 4 to 5% alcohol, a distiller's yeast will yield about 10% alcohol. After about 4 days, the fermentation process will have slowed to a stop, and the mash is now known as wash or distiller's beer. Once we have this finished fermentation solution, we are essentially ready to transfer it to the still to begin distillation. So this very interesting distillation step is where we'll begin the next time on the Whiskey Wizard. Remember, fine whiskey making does not take magic, it just ought to taste that way. I'm Doug Dunbar, and that's it for this installment of the Whiskey Wizard. Back to you, Joe.
Well, that's it. Let's get back to the regular show, guys. Fuck y'all, math and
We
shit.
are the Wizard Round
Mark's
Table.
up in here.
Joe can't tell
Come
time.
on, Joe Clark.
Oh, I like
back.
that song.
You are our host, Joe Clark.
good.
Welcome back. Welcome back to the show.
Welcome back. This is Whiskey Roundtable. We are your hosts. I'm Joe Clark.
Big J.
Karen Helen Keller.
Doug Dunbar.
Big Sexy.
And we're back
Sexy.
again. So we actually went from a double trouble to a trifecta to a quadruple. Doug? That's a compliment.
I resemble that.
All right, right now we're about to taste Heaven Hill 6-year bottled in bond, which is a hard to get drink, unfortunately, because we used to drink the shit out of this like people drink water.
And you know what I read on here? Because it's a 6-year, everyone was really impressed with the color. And I do
Oh, it's
have
beautiful.
to say, I'm
Very
impressed with the color. For a 6-year, it's a dark,
It's got some
dark
character.
amber.
Another heavy.
Got
Another
some
heavy.
color character there.
What do we got on the
It does. You know, when you look at them in the bottles, and then they almost look similar, but in the glass, this is definitely a nicer color.
Yeah. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
He's
I-
checking
I
out.
like-
I was
I like
looking at porn
watching-
on the split screen
yeah,
here, so he was
okay.
checking
Did
out.
you put the Tribe Game
That
on the
Asian
split
girl.
screen?
Oh,
It's
my
like,
goodness.
For real.
Actually,
That's
I
what
could.
would say.
Well, but
I
won't.
enjoy that.
so
Did you
I mean,
figure
this
that
can
out for
handle
the
it
other
just fine.
shows?
I could.
So,
if we're doing that, and that's the thing. Then I could put on split screen on
It's
here.
always the thing.
So this is the Heaven Hill Bottle and Bond 6-year. Greg said the color in this has always been. Yeah, it's a nice color. It's got a
Beautiful.
nice gold.
It's real dark amber.
It is.
It's beautiful.
It's a heavier drink.
I will compare. I will compare it to the Fighting Cock.
Hey, Greg, you need to dye your hair this color.
So this
Right.
is
Good on you.
Lucky I have hair. I used to have hair until I got married.
a little bit.
Wake up.
Fantasy
he-
lands
he's
over.
all right, so come on, Doug, give us the nose on this bottled and bond. Give us the nose.
It opens up with an aggressive nose of alcohol and corn, with delicious aromas of vanilla, salted caramel, roasted walnuts, and toasted oak.
Nuts are bad.
Okay, I get the oak, I get the caramel, I get the vanilla.
Yeah, this is heavy.
I get some nut. I get some nuts on it. I get some
Always
nuts,
get
on,
nuts
the
on the
nose.
nose.
I get some nuts on the nose.
Oh, God.
You know, we've had this several times, and I'll tell
Several?
you, it's very good.
Several?
I can't even.
Greg,
I definitely
drank
get the salted
cases.
caramel.
I was going to say,
We have drank
Cases of
this. Yeah, this is
Cases.
when
It
you
almost
said
has-
the salted caramel, that's what I smell. It's
I have
I get all
the,
the caramel.
it almost has that saltiness that you get from a Isla whiskey.
It is nutty, so it's got a bit of salt.
So I'm being for real here, Doug. I do get a lot. This is very heavy on the vanilla and caramel
Yeah.
to me.
It is. I'm gonna hit some.
Salted caramel.
Let's take a hit.
Hold on, what's the palate?
What's the palate, Doug? Poor Doug.
He was like, I'm about to
Doug's
fight.
like, I gotta
He
run.
wasn't quite done
That was
yet.
like
But
Doug,
palate,
Shoot, I
palate
Our viewers
follows-
are watching, Doug.
It follows with caramel, no surprise there, and more toasted oak, and then some interesting flavors of green apple, a touch of mint, there's mint again, more walnut, and rounding out with just a hint of cinnamon and cloves.
So there's no nuts on the nose?
mouth?
Just the walnut.
This is
Well,
just how.
it might be there later when we turn the camera off and you and Joe are down in the
Oh,
basement
nose
together.
has-
I actually have
the
to
palate
rinse my palate here.
More nose.
All right, let's hit it, kids. Let's hit it.
Dude, your whiskey science section is fucking awesome. I just had to say that since I'm hardcore.
Well, you know, some of these flavors, a lot of these things that we're talking about, these fruity notes and some of the nuts and things, that actually
Pass
is,
that
you
down.
can attribute most of that to the fermentation, which is something we're going to talk a
I
little
did.
bit
On the
about
Whiskey Wizard.
in a few minutes. So.
Amen.
Did you try it, Doug? Going in? I'm going in. Did you try it?
I did. I did. I get the heat. I get the vanilla. I get the caramel.
The
I do.
heat.
I get a little bit of heat. I do. I get a little
There's
bit
a
of
little
heat.
more heat than the 90 proof.
Correct.
It's,
There is a
it's
little bit more
I
heat.
think it's a
But it's
pleasant
comfortable. It's comfortable heat.
heat, but the flavors on this pop.
They do. I get
They
apple.
pop.
I get the green apple. I don't get any of the. I do get the vanilla, the caramel.
Yeah.
I get oak. I get a lot of oak out of it. It's a little bit dry.
I do get a lot of oak.
But I don't get the mint.
I don't get any mint. I do kind of get the walnut thing a little bit.
I didn't get any walnut. I'm gonna
say
cleanse
this.
my palate and hit it again.
The first hit is versus the Green Label 6-year, where the Green Label 6-year to me had a long-lasting finish to it. This one is kind of there and gone.
I agree.
But
I agree.
the there and gone is worth more than the Green Label because it's very. It's got a lot going on, a lot more going on to it. You can tell it's
My
higher
second
proof.
go, the walnut. The walnut
Popped out.
came out even more.
I'm gonna hit it right now.
I'm gonna point.
Black, kind of a black walnut taste.
Helen Keller's quiet on this one. I got nothing to say.
I'm gonna say Helen Keller on the Bottled and Bond is a hater.
Y'all
Doug,
can
I
split
get
my
the
glass.
I don't get the walnut. Wait. I do.
And I get.
We
We haven't officially talked about
So-
the finish yet, but
I'm a walnut guy.
I know you are.
Okay. So I vaguely tasted a little bit of walnut, and maybe that, and I said I'd get oak out of it, but I might get a little bit of the dryness that walnut
and I
gives
get,
you.
and like if you ever had like a real walnut before it's been taken out of its.
Well, I grew up with walnut. I had walnut
almost
trees
has a
as a
little
kid.
bit of that.
It
aroma.
does. Okay, I agree with you.
Yeah.
So you pulled something out that I wasn't thinking about, but I do get that dryness as the walnuts give, and I do get that. Walnut's very distinct. As a kid, we had walnut trees in our yard, many walnut trees, and I do kind of get that. They have that distinct smell, and I kind of get that.
That would explain probably why I am not a fan of this, because I am not a walnut person. And I don't know what I taste out of here.
I said oak, but it's not oak, it's walnut.
You know what? I think that's why I'm probably not a fan, because I really do not care for walnuts. Not a big walnut person, and I don't know if that's the taste. I have no idea, but it's just not my thing.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, it's just not my
So
thing.
I agree with, I had a conversation with Scott earlier, before we started the show, and he said it's apples and oranges, and he is right, it is apples and oranges.
Not in a bad way.
But not in a bad way.
Which one did Scott like better?
He liked the Bottled and Bond.
Really, Scott? Come on, dude. It's the other
He
way.
liked the Bottled and Bond. But, so, I thought it was tasting oak, but you're right, it's walnut that I'm tasting. You're exactly
And
right.
there's there's some spice on the finish.
There is some spice on this.
So let's see what the official comments are about the finish here. Finish is long and spicy with big wood notes.
Okay.
A
Big
bit of
wood,
cinnamon.
that's why you like
I
I
it.
ran
get
it to
that.
him when he did the meat.
A sweet toffee with lingering herbal tones. Fantastic everyday whiskey and a stellar value.
It was a fantastic whiskey and a stellar value, and
In its time. If
In
you
its
can
time,
find
but
it
if you
now,
can
it's
find it,
probably
you know.
not a good value.
thanks, Heaven Hill.
Doug, originally I paid $11.99 a bottle. I have reeled back probably quite a few cases of that. We actually we sold a few, but we drank more than what we sold.
We did.
To me, it brings back a lot of memories just hanging out with Big G on the porch. This was a big, meaty Big G, and sometimes random people. It was mostly me and a Big G drank on the porch late at night, drinking
us.
bottled and bond,
Solving
Heaven
the
Hill.
problems, just us. We talked about all of our personal stuff, all that stuff. I remember that. You
It
know.
sounds like a Simon and Garfunkel
No,
song.
I
Me
tell
and
you what,
Big G hanging out on the porch.
You know, I'll tell you what. Besides the porch, we hung out at the wine bar in the backyard. You know, we have quite the entertainment area. So we hung out at the wine bar a lot of times, and we got intimate on a lot of
Talked a
different
lot of
things.
shit.
A lot, not like you're thinking. Put your head in the gutter. But
That's what it is. You're
I
ready to
know,
bring
get
it
out
up.
of the gutter. But anyway, you know, we talked about a lot of different things, and you know, Heaven Hill is our bottled bond, man. That's what we drink. You know.
So this comes at you quick. It gives you a lot, big burst. This will hold up really well with a cigar. And
I agree.
just, when
What
you
about cigars?
need something with a little robustness to it. I'd say in contrast, the Green Label 6 is more delicate and has
It
has
definitely
a
is
longer. It's longer on the palate.
It's definitely a flavor burst compared to the 6-year.
I like them both. That's what I would say. I'd say that they're distinctly different. If I had to choose one, I think I would go with the Green.
Okay.
If I could only have
Really?
one.
Okay.
If I could only have
Really?
one. But,
Wow, I'm shocked.
but you know
I agree
what's
with you.
nice
All
is
right,
I don't
Karen?
have to. I
Karen?
don't have to only have one.
I would go with the Green Label. I do not like the bottled and bond at all.
Joe?
I'm surprisingly torn.
Really?
Get the fuck out of here.
I can't.
Clarky.
Okay, so I can't really. It's shocking to me. I can't choose one or the other as a definite because they are very different from each other. It
that's for
would
sure.
be to me more of a mood thing, but
Yeah.
for nostalgia purposes and
Well,
how much we've drank in time,
There's no
and
accounting
also
for that. You gotta. That's a real factor.
the flavor pop that you get in the quick burst that it does. And it's so good, the flavor pop that you get. I'm going to go with the bottled and bond.
Taking into account the fact that it's now discontinued.
No.
No, you're just going on pure taste alone.
No. This was one of our favorite drinks for a very. I mean, we used to drink this.
We haven't drank this in 2 years.
Look at the fucking collection here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
We got a lot of shit.
You've looked and look at all the shit we could have drank all the time, anytime we wanted to. Stuff that I've milled,
and
stuff that he's milled, stuff that people have brought over.
And we've always
picked
come
that.
back to
Heaven Hill, bottled and bond,
I
6-year.
agree.
We drank the fuck out of it.
Yeah, we
Well,
By the
it's,
case. I mean, like, it was like a 12-pack of beer to us. You know what I mean? And it was just like, oh.
There's certainly nothing to dislike about it. I mean, it's very enjoyable.
I mean, there's 20, 30-year-old stuff back there, and we'd have a little hit of that. Dude, what do you want? Let's do Heaven Hill, bottled and bond. It was always like that with us. And for that
But,
purpose,
it's
for
like-
me,
Like when we did the tasting of the Bushmill 16, it's a little bit like that for me. the green sticks with me like something. I want to have that again soon.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Not that we wouldn't enjoy that anytime, but
I mean,
it's more like it has that had a lot of complexity, which is just something I like.
It is more complex than the green
So
label.
a little more delicate. Sometimes that's
The green label
like you
does,
said, the mood though.
depends
If I was
on,
going
like
to
I
have
do
a
whiskey a
robust
lot
cigar,
of my
I
green.
would go for the bottle of
you know, so you know, we go back to early times, so to say, and I don't mean the bourbon, I don't mean the whiskey. I'm talking about early times.
Okay.
Back
okay.
when you know, I was just getting acclimated, so to say, with your education and everything else like that.
Back in the day.
Back in the day, okay. And when I say early
The-
times, I'm not talking about early times. I'm talking about time as far as friendship goes.
Probably about 10 years ago.
Yeah. So, you know, we always, I mean, as time went on with you and me, you know, we've acquired a lot of stuff. Okay, we have some stuff people would die to have. I get it. Okay, but at the end of the day, we seem to go back to the $20 or less stuff. Okay, because it has nothing to do with the price. I mean, price don't care for us. Okay, I don't give a shit what it costs.
Doesn't matter.
Okay, doesn't matter to me. You know that, and you're the same person. So, but we go back to the early times, and what I mean by early times is I'll say early times as far as whiskey goes, and our early times as far as our friendship goes. But we seem to get the most enjoyment out of stuff like 6 Year and Bottled and Bond.
Yeah.
Early times,
Hey.
you know, Fighting Cock.
Evan Williams.
Okay, Evan
One point in
Williams.
time, we probably had 20 of them fuckers
Amen.
sitting around, but right? You know.
You know, now I'm a little pissed off that you know, my cousin Ernie brought, you know, he mules us up a lot of stuff. But you know, I'm gonna tell you what. At the end of the day, I'm busting Ernie's balls, but
You got to.
we have to because he would love it. But at the end of the day, our less expensive stuff makes us feel better.
Yep.
Does that make sense? Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what I got to say. So listen, I want you guys to clean out your glasses. We're gonna hit that Fighting Cock. So let's take an intermission and let's get to the Fighting Cock. Okay?
Okay.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. This is Whiskey Roundtable, and we're doing our trifecta tonight because Greg had the great idea of like, well, we've always tried. I like the Fighting Cock better than the Heaven Hill 6 Year Bottled and Bond, and let's see what happens.
I kind of
this could be
recall that was your idea.
Excellent. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. It's Joe's
Okay,
idea.
so it was maybe my idea.
Credit
to
where
try it
credit
tonight.
is due.
I get it.
Okay, so we're going to do Fighting Cock. It is a 6 Year Heaven Hill product, 103 proof, and we're going to compare that to the Heaven Hill 6 Year Bottled and Bond, and also the Heaven Hill 6 Year 90 proof green label.
All right.
So let's see what we got here. What do we got?
All right, so you know, I have said once I tried, never had Fighting Cock until this year. Okay, so I know we did a show on it. It was all fun and giddy and all that
Stupid.
stuff, and
It was fun.
It was fun.
Probably lots
And,
of play on words. I can
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But so we have another 6 Year, which is 103 proof. So, my opinion, I mean, Joe and I have drank multiple bottles of Bottled and Bond 6 Year, and then I always wanted to try Fighting Cock, and we got it, and it's 103 proof, and in my opinion, I think the bottles stack up to what they are. Okay, 6 Year, Bottled and Bond, Fighting Cock, 103 proof. So 90, 100, 103. So
Might agree with you on that.
all right, so let's get a nose, and I know we don't have the information on the nose, but
No, that's okay.
I have some tasting notes.
There you go.
All right,
So
there you go.
fancy.
Look at this guy. This
Once
fucking
you
guy.
get past the prickly feeling from the alcohol on your nose, you will find a deep maple and vanilla aroma.
Absolutely.
There's a bit of wax and dried herbs as well.
Not vegetal waxiness, is it?
Oh no, it doesn't. That's not.
oh hell no.
Oh, this shit's about to get crazy. See, I told you, not doing this shit again unless we have a 14-year fucking version. All right,
Sorry.
that's a very
So I
pleasant
do,
nose.
I do get some heat out of the nose.
Yeah.
I do get some heat out of the nose. So, you have anything
Okay,
else?
I can go with the maple.
Yeah,
A
it's
little bit
heavy
of
on
maple
maple.
sugar.
Sure.
Yeah.
What's crazy to me is this 103 proof compared to the bottle and bond, which is
Faster legs
100.
at the bottom.
It
This to
is
me-
faster legs. You're exactly right.
This
and
to
I
me
remember
is-
this from
is
last time.
Smoother.
Boom, right down. Look at that. Easy, light, very light. Look at
So
that.
maple notes typically are
Almost
going to
kinda
come from the oak.
Should we give it a taste?
Fuck it, let's go.
Absolutely.
Let's
So
go on. Fuck
I
it,
wish
let's
we
go.
knew what kind of what char number we had on that.
I don't remember what our
Sláinte,
char
everybody.
was.
Cheers.
Sláinte. All right. Salute.
Solid.
Oh my goodness.
That's so good.
That's really good.
That's so good.
Now, if I were to put the three of them together, because that's what we're doing, right?
Go ahead. Stack them up.
Fighting Cock's number one.
Okay.
Not just because I'm a lady.
All right. All right, go.
That likes the cock.
You
Fighting-
like the cock?
I do.
It does.
Imagine that, right? Fighting Cock is number one. Green Label's number two. Wild and Bond. I leave it for you guys to drink.
Wow, that's a little shocking, but okay.
And I am just the opposite. I think it's stacked up just the way we
Right where it
presented
is.
it.
Yep.
Okay. So, Doug, I
You're
know.
the opposite? What do you mean?
I say.
Clarify.
I say. 3, 2, 1.
Really?
That's what I say.
Well, I haven't made my decision yet. So I need to go in again.
Hit it again. Come on now.
Some brown sugar.
Brown sugar. Yeah.
It's a heat and it's smooth.
I don't
It's like
get it.
a
I don't.
good
I get light
barbecue.
heat out of it.
It
I
is.
get the brown sugar. I get a little maple
On
out
the
of it.
first taste, I got, because it's 103 proof. But
Right.
now it's really the second time in I'm getting a lot more.
It is sweeter
It is
Yeah.
sweet.
than the rest.
It's
of it.
lighter. It's lighter than the other two.
And it's higher
Definitely
proof. 3
lighter.
points higher.
It is. It's 103
3
proof.
points higher
It's
than the
a
Wild and
lot
Bond,
lighter.
13
It's a lot
points
lighter.
higher than the Green Label, and
Yep.
it is sweeter, and I think it is actually, it's very smooth.
It is.
It is.
Yeah.
The heat's there, but it's
So how
not.
do you rate it, Doug? Big, sexy?
I would put it at the top.
You put that at the top.
All right.
What do you
So
put
you like
second?
green?
I put the green second. And
Second.
The bottle and
He's
bond.
with me. Yes.
Okay.
That's
I'm withholding from my final.
I'm not even.
now it finishes with there's a little bit something pretty on the finish.
I'm going
It
to do
is.
something a little unconventional here.
You know, you had some more. Now you're cheating, son. You're cheating, son.
Oh, he's trying to bring out the flavor.
I know it is.
So, and it does. It really does. When you add that water to it.
No, but I like to drink it raw.
I like to raw dog it too sometimes. And, yeah, that's how I was rolling my lifetime. Got me in trouble a couple
Okay.
times.
That's why you have 3 children's.
And that time I got some dark chocolate.
Got them kids.
Anybody else get that?
I didn't
I'm
have
sorry.
it.
So when you add
So-
a little bit of water to it, it is super heavy caramel on that, man.
Well, I will just try that. Do we have any still water in there?
Not the still.
Not down here, I don't think.
We
Still
need
water.
to start
I'd have to
having the dropper in the water.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll start.
Well,
And
come on now, bring it
If
in that
we
little
have it here,
backpack of
so
yours.
we-
I do. I have the dropper. I have the
Retardant.
regular water.
Yeah.
But you know what? We'll start making
I don't have
that.
AIDS. If you want to have some of my bottled water,
I'll
Yeah,
take
give
a
him,
few
give him,
drops
Doug.
of that.
Yeah, give him, Doug.
dude, you are
Drops.
scientific as fuck on that, man.
Point
But
the
dude,
whiskey
the nose
was-
comes out on that.
Well, you better watch it. He's gonna put a spell on you.
I don't know about you, Doug, but okay, when you add water to that, do you not get a scotchy kind of floral nose to that?
What is, do we know the grain bill on this?
I don't remember. We did a show on
You know
this.
what?
I wonder how much barley it has.
I can look that up. Just keep checking.
Right,
So let me, we'll just finish with what the official palette is here.
Okay.
The spice and smoke pick up pace on the
Definitely
palate
spicy.
with more sweet vanilla, barrel spices. That makes sense. So we're talking about some cinnamon and black pepper.
I don't get no black pepper.
I'm getting
I
much
do.
more of the, like I said, the maple, vanilla,
Maple. I get
vanilla,
maple. I get caramel. I get
caramel.
vanilla.
Yeah.
I don't get any pepper on it. If they're talking about,
I would
talking about,
love this with a nice piece of dark chocolate would go great with this. That's
Yeah.
the way-
well, you know,
okay.
it's
Yeah,
funny
sure.
that you say that because you know I've been to many cigar events where we compare different cigars with you know, appetizers,
Yeah.
dinner, dessert, you know, and then after. So I agree with that. I agree with that wholeheartedly. So there you are, kids. That's what we.
But you know, I would
get my
say.
rating
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go.
No, I would just say that I was a fan of all three of these tonight. So
Definitely.
I would rank
Agree.
them. You know, we ranked them, but they're all in my book fairly close. Like we said, I think that depending on the mood, definitely the Fighting Cock is a good after dinner whiskey. I would say the Bottle and Bond, like I said, a hearty cigar, and the Green Label just anytime in the afternoon, just sitting on my back.
They are all so very different from each
They're all
other.
very
Oh my
different.
gosh,
and
amazing
good in their own
different.
way.
Yes. I'm shocked by it.
and not displeasing, not displeasing at all.
All good.
I agree.
All good. They're
Well, I
all
will,
worth
I will
the money.
cross out the Bottled and Bond. It was
Okay.
not my thing.
That's fine. That's fine.
Karen, we always say there's never a bad review on whiskey. Everybody has their own palate.
Absolutely.
That's the way it is. That's how we're made, and I appreciate that. I even go back to things that I hate, and recently I've gone back to things that I hate, and I actually am like,
Give a little more
I mean, I love
appreciation.
it, but I get it. I
A little more
Well,
appreciate it.
appreciation.
you
And at the
changed.
same, hey, Lefroy. I fucking hate Lefroy, but there's a couple bottles out there now. I'm like, okay, guess what? I fucking
Not no
like
10 or
it.
18 years.
I like it.
Chances,
I like it. There's a 10 and an 18 year. There's a 10 cast strength in there.
right? No way. Get
Oh,
the
really?
fuck out of
I'm
here.
kidding you, man.
Okay. All right.
So
after-
my rating is
Yeah, let's hear it.
Let's hear it, Clarky.
Heaven Hill Green Label last. Fighting Cock number 2, and number 1 is Heaven Hill Bottled and Bond.
Dude,
All right.
All right.
That's how I rate it.
for shizzle.
So my
What about
ra-
you, Big
yeah.
G?
All right, my rating is I'm gonna disappoint Joe, but I think they stacked up this way. Set them up,
I can understand
green,
that. I
white,
can
and
understand
fighting
that.
cock, man. So,
So you take
Right.
Fighting Cock number 1,
fighting
Bottled
cock,
and Bond number 2, and Green Label number 3.
Okay.
but not disappointing. So
Any of them.
none of them are disappointing.
Yeah.
Okay,
They're
so
all
fantastic.
winners in
just
your
my
book.
own personal palate. You know what? I was a white label fan, Bottle and Bond, and when I tried the Fighting Cock, I was blown away. I just thought that was much more superior.
I think
What is the price on that?
What?
Fighting Cock, $18.
Yeah.
$18.
That's a good.
That's a
You
solid
got-
fucking
you got
drink for
$18,
$18, man.
You got about $16. You got like $14. So, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
So-
the Fighting Cock you got to get out of Ohio to get it. So.
Now the original price of. So I was shocked when you said $14 on the Heaven Hill Green because that was usually around $9.
Yeah, $9-10 is what I saw
The
online.
the
I'll show you the receipt.
no. things
I
have,
knew he screwed up.
no, you motherfucker. No, things have to go Irishman.
Now you know why Diego sound like Irishman.
That's why, dude,
I was $13.99.
So I spotted you at 20 because you muled that shit back, and that's what you get.
I have a book,
But-
How to Kill an Irishman, by the way.
So originally that was about $9.99 for the Green Label 6-year.
Well, that's
The-
at that price. That is just phenomenal.
The
I mean,
bottle
I
of
agree.
Bond Heaven Hill, we bought it at $11.99 a bottle,
Right.
and the Fighting Cock is
18
anywhere from 18 to I've seen
21.
18 to $21.
Yeah,
I paid,
it's like
They're
the-
all worth it.
It's
They're
like
all
the-
worth it.
No matter what none of these bottles that you buy, green, white, or Fighting Cock, they're all pleasing.
You know what? They're
Okay,
really good.
they're all
I'm
pleasing.
shocked. Now
the
if you
money-
get the regular white label, non-age statement, that's shit.
What do you think? What do you think, Dougie?
What do you mean the white label?
So in Ohio here, you can go to any fucking liquor store and get Heaven Hill. Looks like exactly like the bottled and
But
bottled
it's
white
not.
label, but
Yeah.
it doesn't say 6 years. It's garbage.
Yeah.
Really?
it's
Okay,
rough.
because
We
that's
did a taste
interesting.
testing
Right,
at my house.
We did.
We
did.
had and you can also get the regular green label.
I brought
not
it.
age-stated.
I brought it.
It was okay, but we paired them up. We're like, oh, bottled and bond by
Okay,
far.
and I'm sorry, I'm going to bring the show down, but can you explain that a little bit more? Because you can go to any liquor store in Ohio and see Heaven Hill.
Yeah, sure.
So the green label that's right
You can
there,
get it.
you
Yeah.
can get that anywhere.
No age statement.
Yeah, no.
And that's what we have right here.
Yeah.
Good.
No.
I haven't
We
seen
have
the
6
6-year.
year.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
But in
this,
Ohio, you can get that green label, no age statement, and it's like 6 months.
so this green label that we
Is
have on
6
the
year.
table is 6-year.
Yes.
Well, no.
So please
No.
don't compare that to a green label that you get,
I'm sorry, you're talking about green label. I apologize.
right? The green label that you can get anywhere in Ohio.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
The green label in Ohio is garbage.
Okay.
That's the good green label. Only
Okay.
available in Kentucky.
Only available in Kentucky.
Yes.
Okay, I think
6
that's
year.
important
That
because
number right there.
can you show that
6
to
year.
the camera,
I can. I
please?
did. I did.
Because I have seen Heaven Hill.
Green label. And
Yeah.
Greg brought that to my house when we did the testing of Heaven Hill Bottled and Bond originally years ago.
I think that's important because I did not realize that.
Yeah.
So that's 6 year. The white label we have here is 6 year because that's Bottled and Bond.
Correct.
And then that is, so we have all 3 6 years right there.
So be careful what you're looking for.
Yeah, because
Because I
in the past when Greg was looking at what I showed Greg when I first got Bottled and Bond
we were in Garrett's.
white label
I was in
6 year. Greg's like, I got the same thing here in Ohio. I was like, no, you didn't.
You
He
did.
comes over the house,
Right, right.
and he brings it, and he goes, boom. I said, and I went, boom, and he's like, oh.
And
Right.
we made
Age statement.
we made
6 year.
Manhattans out of it. But anyway.
No,
what do you-
and we compared it, and it was totally different.
What do you
So-
got, Dougie?
I was just gonna say, I mean, there's plenty of great whiskeys out there.
Sure.
That you talked about in the past, the Blantons, and there's lots of high-priced whiskeys. I liken this to those are the supermodels. It's easy to appreciate
Right.
for everybody, kind of universally.
But
These I compare. These are more like the girl
Underdogs.
next door, pretty
Underdog.
girl next door with a lot
Right.
of personality,
All right.
and a lot to appreciate in all of these.
this
They were
brings
all
you to
good.
the point of price
All
does
three
not
is
matter all the time.
They all had their different personalities.
Sure.
I would have expected these to have a higher price tag. Just
Sure.
on a blind taste.
If you put it in a pretty bottle, like a Blanton's, you'd be like, oh, okay. Yeah, I get,
Yeah.
But
Skip
when you
over the
get
bottom
something to
line,
that
though.
effect, like a Blanton's, or you get into oh, God, we could keep this going to a McKenna 10-year bottle and bond, and you would taste the difference and be like, oh, okay. And because
Yeah,
McKenna
that's what I'm
10-year
saying. I
bottle
mean,
and
they're-
bond is a Heaven Hill
They're
product.
they're prized for a reason, but I'm saying these are the kind of things that you don't want to overlook.
Amen. Absolutely.
Yeah, be careful because there's a lot of different ones.
We got produced, Joe.
So we're getting into the news here, and it's going to be real short. We've had a pretty long show on this one. Pinhook Bourbon Country Cask Strength is out. It's an MGP sourced, because I like Pinhook Rye. I didn't care for the bourbon too much, the regular bourbon. But this is a Bourbon Country Cask Strength MGP, 3-year-old, 115.3 proof, 70% corn, 20.5% rye, 4.5% malted barley, and it is $50. That is one I think we should kind of source. We need to talk to Hank. Hank brings that back.
Okay.
New whiskey in Michigan. It is called Old Americana Bourbon by Luca Mariano.
Okay.
Distilled in
Sounds like a
Kentucky.
Dago. I
It
like
is-
that.
It is. It is distilled in Kentucky. It is 4 to 5 years old. No price yet. It literally just came out this month.
No shit.
Just
Okay.
released.
All right.
Okay.
And another thing that I'm really excited about, and the last of my news tonight, is Bullet 12-year rye
All right.
sightings
I like
here,
that.
local, has come out starting today.
Really?
So we don't need anybody to mule it back. I'm sure it's going to be widely available very soon.
We'll be
like
looking
I
for that.
kind of predicted, because we get a lot of Bullet products here, and we get some good Bullet products. And I think within the next couple weeks, Greg, or in the next couple days, or knowing you in the next 24 hours, we're probably going to have a Bullet 12-year right here.
You know me all too well.
MSRP.
All right.
Sorry, we're celebrating the tribe.
Go Tribe, 6-3. All
We
right.
got Joe Boo.
So we got, that's it. That's
All right,
it.
hey.
Get that